unfortunate days here in the past 20 years that where children have really suffered from the heat. So we just want to make sure that we remember that during this time of the year. We've got a full agenda. I think, Keeler, if you can put the slide deck up, I will get started. I'm going to do some updates from the LEARNS Act. All right. Got a guest speaker that's going to be with us in just a moment. Hopefully, she's one of our providers and we'll be able to get her on. I think she tried last time. So hopefully, Miss Sanji will be on in just a little bit. I am really excited because I'm going to be doing some town hall meetings around the state over the next few weeks. And I'm starting tomorrow in Northwest Arkansas. And shout out to my colleagues there and in other parts of the state that were tragically hit by tornadoes in the past couple weeks. But I'm looking forward to coming up and spending some time with you tomorrow. So I'm just going to kind of walk through um, just real brief. I'll have a few more slides, but I really want it to be interactive. We're coming to listen. But Jennifer Douglas, who's our state local lead um, director, will be coming with me. So we're going to be in Fayetteville. But if you'll advance it, Keeler, I will kind of talk through that. That was in the Buzz newsletter. If you read the Buzz from our Better Beginnings website, you saw the list and you can go there. It was a special edition, but we'll be sharing just updates about LEARNS and what is being implemented and where things are. There are 6 town halls scheduled between now and about the 3rd week of July, I think. I think the dates are coming up next. So Fayetteville tomorrow. We have Camden next week, and then Arkansas City, Batesville, Little Rock, and then we'll have a virtual meeting that we'll do an announcement at a later time, just for people that maybe couldn't make the in-person and maybe just want to hop on and do a virtual meeting. So that is the list, and we're really looking forward to it. Invite you out if you're able to attend. Again, it's a time for us to hear from you. We'll be kind of sharing some updates and then really doing a Q&A and listening to whoever is able to attend. And I'm just going to share a couple of things for those that might not be in Fayetteville tomorrow. As many of you know, there was a law that passed, as well as some executive orders, really to prioritize early learning and literacy. And go ahead and advance. I'm not going to read to you all. I know I've talked about LEARNS for the past year, but essentially it unifies early childhood. It has all of the early childhood programming at the Department of Ed, and that has happened in the past year. We have begun establishing local lead organizations. We have 21. I'm really excited. We just funded cohort 2 recently, and they are reaching out to their early childhood partners and community as we speak. So there's a lot happening in the local lead space, and I'll be talking about that tomorrow and as well as at the other town hall meetings. Really looking at the class tool that we'll be implementing this fall and the pilot that will begin in the school year. And then we've already done a third-party review of our licensing regulations and have started making those changes. Our licensing regulations are working their way through the approval and promulgation process. Those have to go, through several approval processes and then to the legislative committee. So it's probably going to be a couple of weeks, months maybe, but hopefully within the next few months, we'll have revised licensing regulations. There are other regs that are making their way through and are a little ahead of licensing. So if you aren't aware of that, public comment is posted out on the department's website for the rules. And I know Better Beginnings and our pre-K credential is out there. Probably ABC will be following soon, and then licensing will be our last 4. And those will be all of the regulations that we currently have in place. But this one is specific to licensing, and then really working to hear from stakeholders like yourselves. So let Keeler advance that, and then talk a little bit about next steps. So you can use this QR code to share feedback. So please feel free to do it today, or you can do it at one of the town hall meetings. But again, it's a way for us to hear from you. And this QR links you to a survey that you can fill out. And your experiences and input help us hopefully make better policy decisions and revise and make better informed decisions about the work that we do with you and together. So again, here's the list. Trying to hit sort of all parts of the state, probably some areas that you're a little surprised about, but sort of all four corners, and then Central Arkansas, and then a virtual. So really looking forward to that and hoping that you'll be able to come out. I'll have different staff. I'd love to bring the whole team, but we have a lot of work that's happening, so it may just be one or two of us. I'll be, I think, at all of the meetings. Um, but probably licensing will attend one, and Jennifer's going to be out tomorrow, maybe at all of them or as many as she can. Lori Bridges will be there at one of these meetings. So again, trying to bring some of the staff out and look forward to hearing from you. It's really important to us, and I just want to get your input. So now, one of the funnest things that we get to do is hear from some of our early care and education providers. And Sanji Comic is one of our providers from Sunny Day Learn and Play Daycare in Sheridan, Arkansas, um, where we do have an area that needs probably additional childcare. But Sanji's going to talk about some of the work that she's been able to do with American Rescue Plan Act Fund. So Sanji, if you're on. Oh, she's not. She's not able to. Sorry, guys. I just got the nod that she's not gonna be able to do that. So we apologize for that. Sometimes technology works for us and sometimes it works against us. So I apologize. Um, we'll just move on. And if she's able to join us at a later time before the call is over, if you'll go back one, I think Lori's next, or maybe I'm out of order too at this point. Maybe it's Kelly. So Kelly, we'll let you take it away.
Sure, this will just be really quick. Good afternoon, everyone. We have updated, I guess I should say, our kindergarten readiness indicator checklist. There's a new copy on the screen there. Basically, what we've done is just reorganized it. So the information is pretty much still the same. There's just a new organization to it, and it makes it a little bit easier for parents and families to understand. So it separates the skills at what time frame the children should have the skills that we're talking about. So like on this first one here where it says skills measured at kindergarten entry. So it's clear to the parents if they look down that list, those are the things their child should be doing at kindergarten entry. So we just hope that you'll take a minute to look at this list and then share it with your families, and hopefully it'll be a lot more user friendly for them.
Thanks, Kelly. And just for you to be aware, the kindergarten definition for the state, or kindergarten readiness definition, has been revised. That was part of the LEARNS Act that we revise it. So this update just reflects both that revised definition, but also just reorganizing in a way that we hope will be more family friendly and even provider friendly. So thanks, Kelly, for sharing. And yes, Donna, it will be the updated list, and that is part of a law that programs are to share that kindergarten readiness indicator checklist. So as we put this one out, this is the list that you should be sharing. Um, there is no foul if you have the old one and you accidentally give that one, but we will move to this one as we continue to move forward.
Yes, and thank you. And Kelly has shared the link in the chat that will take you directly to that kindergarten readiness indicator checklist for families. And that is, a requirement, I know, in ABC, and I think good practice for all of our Office of Early Childhood programs for parents to receive that either at an open house or a parent conference. But she put that link in there of the PDF that you can download and print from there, or share that electronically with your parents. It is also located on the Better Beginnings website. And I am going to, Keeler, could you give me, maybe make me a co-host so I could share my screen. One of the two things that I'm going to review today, we did share at our May provider call a little bit about the academic approval process that's required in the LEARNS Act, and an update on our class pilot project that is also a requirement in the LEARNS Act.
Lori, is it giving? I'm showing you have co-host access.
I do. Thank you, Keeler.
Okay.
Yeah, what I Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing the perfect. Okay. Now let me get it. Okay, so again, this is a review from the May provider call, but we're probably going to be repeating this for a few months just to help make sure everyone gets that same information. But in the LEARNS Act, let me actually go back here. The LEARNS Act requires that each early learning center approved for licensure by the Department of Education and or receives public funds shall meet all health and safety standards. So, you know, there is that licensing requirement to ensure that we are meeting all health and safety standards, but also the obtaining approval from the department for the requirements of the Unified Early Childhood Care and Education System established under this chapter regarding kindergarten readiness. So I'm going to put this into layman's terms on the next slide, but I did want to pull exactly how it is stated in the LEARNS Act. But so for that kindergarten readiness as determined by the State Board of Education, the department shall base its approval under this section on early learning centers' satisfactory participation in what we're calling local lead organizations or the Unified Early Childhood Care and Education System. So we'll be unifying accountability and collaborating and coordinating enrollment. So in layman's terms, to receive academic approval from the Department of Education, all publicly funded early learning sites must comply with the following. They must participate in the local early childhood lead organization and all the associated activities that the local leads are working with. So that includes, you know, the child counts, coordinated enrollment, information campaign to help information get out to communities, to families and providers, fostering innovation around our early childhood, early care and education programs across the state, and elevate best practices and have that unified definition of what kindergarten readiness and what quality is in the state of Arkansas. So we will be, so that's participating in the local lead organization is a requirement, and then also participating in Better Beginnings and receiving that accountability rating. So when publicly funded programs that receive Arkansas Better Chance state funds or CCDF, the Child Care Development federal funds, when you sign your CCDF participation agreement or your ABC grant agreement, it specifically states in those documents that you understand that by signing this, that your agency and programs will participate in the local lead organization, the local lead organization activities and participating in Better Beginnings. The class pilot project, we are, again, the the LEARNS Act is requiring a unified system for quality. And, as you know, across the state, we have several quality assessment tools that are being utilized. So this is our attempt at trying to unify and look at the class observation tool, evaluation tool. It is by Teachstone, and you are welcome to go to Teachstone or Google Teachstone class. There are infant tools, toddler tools, and pre-K tools, all the way into school age tools. But we are specifically looking at the infant, toddler, and pre-K class tools through this project. The classroom assessment scoring system tool called CLASS measures the quality of teacher-child interactions. It is correlated to educational outcomes for children, and it is used in classrooms serving, like I said, from birth to grade 3 across the country. This is an evidence-based, in-depth measure to help us as a state inform a consistent definition of early childhood quality, show how well classrooms support growth and development in our youngest learners, and provide teachers and leaders with actionable information to improve. This is going to be our continuous quality improvement system. And again, it is a growth model, looking at where across the state we need to provide support and professional development and coaching to our providers and our early childhood educators. I have one of the requests from our previous provider calls is when we record it, sometimes the links aren't always in the chat. So I have put the link specifically, if you are watching it as a recording, that you could go to view the frequently asked questions document that we have developed around the class assessment scoring pilot. I'm not going to read this in depth for you. I will also drop this in the chat for those of you that are participating in today's provider call to be able to access. But again, this is as questions are arising, we're taking those questions and providing a frequently asked questions, a Q&A document. This is also going to be linked to a landing page that we will have on the Office of Early Childhood for the class pilot. I guess I've pulled it up and just realized I didn't share that with you, but so this is the FAQ, the frequently asked questions document around class. And again, I have put the link on the slide, and we will also drop it in the chat. But again, it's a 2-page document that talks a little bit about the background and the logistics of the pilot, and how to, and who to contact for questions and support. Again, this will be being led by your local lead agency in your community. And we will be starting that with cohort 1, the 12 initial local lead organizations.
Thanks, Lori. I had a quick question in the chat box, and I've responded, but just to repeat it to everyone, because I'm getting this question quite a bit, is class assessment going to replace ERS? It will during the pilot for some programs, and we're rolling out those conditions. So I'm just going to spend a second and let Lori keep moving forward, but I don't want to say at this point that class is going to replace ERS, because it is a pilot year. And in a pilot situation, you're gathering data and input. So we'll be looking for input from programs. But as I've said many, many times in the past several months, I'm not expecting programs to call me and say, I really like ERS better. I may get those calls, but I'm not expecting that to be in large volume. Um, and we're required to pilot regardless of how we feel or think. This is a requirement of a law, and we're going to see it through. I think class, just for those of you who don't know, and it would be a really good time to get to know your Head Start colleagues because it is their federally required tool for classroom observations. And I don't think that Head Start picks things just by chance. They spend a lot of money and time researching it. And so it's a really good assessment tool. The reason we're selecting this one is because it's a better predictor of child outcomes, according to the research. And so we will be piloting it this coming school year and going into and probably a few months after that even. But for programs that want to level up, let's just say currently you're at level 2 and you want to be at level 4, you will use the current system in Better Beginnings, which includes the environment rating scale, not the class tool. If your program is up for renewal during this period for Better Beginnings or is a requirement of your ABC program, you can, if you're part of the local leads, and as we expand that, every part of the state will be, but we will work with you and you will have some options unless you're trying to level up. Brand new programs getting licensed or that have never been in Better Beginnings will have to use the current system to become Better Beginnings approved. So we're working, and many of you have probably received letters about participating in the class pilot. Many more of you will have that option as we continue to roll out cohort 2 and then finally cohort 3. But I'll hand it back to Lori, but just wanted to make sure that we were really clear on this is, I'm not saying we're going to replace it, but we are piloting it and we will be getting input and data and, listening to you all provide input about which tool is better, but also looking at what we see as data on how children are doing, and how programs are doing. So it's going to be a lot of information over the next year, probably 2 years even. And so I'll let Lori kind of finish us out on this. And then if you have any more questions, just put them in the box.
Yes, thank you, Tanya. And I'm going to skip ahead to kind of piggyback on what Tanya said. So our cohort 1 local leads, that is where we are starting with the class pilot phase 1. So if your program is in one of the counties listed here as the cohort 1 local lead, you were up for recertification and Better Beginnings, or it was your evaluation year for ABC ERS during the 24-25 program year, you will be eligible for that phase 1 pilot program. So I just wanted you to look, we will be rolling out a phase 2 once we've had a chance to get that cohort 2 local leads up and build capacity for that. So again, these are the counties that we are starting in for phase 1 of the class pilot project. Now, I am going to, and then that is the what we use to determine those phase 1 participants is that they were located in a catchment area of cohort 1 local lead. They were due for recertification during the Better Beginnings recertification during the 24-25 program year. Or, like I said, we're up for ERS evaluation rotation during the 24-25 program year for ABC. Now, we know we will have other programs that might want to volunteer. That will be worked, determined at the local lead agency as they build capacity to support additional programs in their catchment area. But I wanted to also go back and share a video. It's just about a 4-minute video. And since we have a little time to catch up because Sanji wasn't able to join us today, I'm going to go ahead and share. And it gives a little background and understanding on that class tool. Well, I should have, let me get
dinner tonight. Make the reservation and get back to me about it. Chris, are you getting any of this? Dinner at Santino's, opera tonight, tour tomorrow, and check up on Shuggy's.
Yeah.
Economic research makes it hard.
Are you seeing the video? No. Okay. So let me. Here we go.
Research makes it hard to deny that investment in early childhood development is the smartest strategy that we can make. There's really no more fertile period of time for investing in human capacity.
We're having a national debate right now about effective teaching. We're focusing in ways that we never have before on the importance of the teacher that is in the classroom with the children. What we're learning is that there are elements of what teachers know that are important, but it's far more important what teachers do with children in those classrooms.
That is delicious. Okay, I want that. Okay. All right. Take that now, don't forget.
Dozens of studies now from all across the country converge really on that finding that it is the qualities and nature of interactions between adults and children that are responsible for the learning and development of those kids. There are a lot of ways to define quality. Our way of measuring quality involves observing the interactions that occur between teachers and kids in those settings. We use the classroom assessment scoring system to do that. We've been able to show in almost thousands of classrooms across the country that indeed, when one uses a standardized, reliable way of looking at interactions, that what we're looking at is predicting children's learning and development. When we look at the interactions that adults have with kids, we generally think of them in terms of how emotionally supportive is the adult toward the children, how much does the adult organize the child's activity and attention and time in the classroom, and what is the adult doing to foster cognitive development and stimulate language and conversation with the children. On the emotional side of things, we're looking for how warm those interactions are. Does the teacher genuinely enjoy the child, and is there some reciprocity in that enjoyment?
Oh, Fidelis said we have to cheer for him, so we gotta say, go Fidelis, go Fidelis, go Fidelis, you can do it, go Fidelis, oh, you did it.
A child should feel that they're supported in their growth of self-esteem and their use of curiosity and persistence and resilience, all the types of lifelong management skills that we want every individual to have find their seats in these very young years.
Can you help me make it like this, Boston? Okay, first go line here and then point here and then make the ears. Help me a chair. Here, that's how you do it. Hey, that's too funny. Sorry.
We also pay a lot of attention to how teachers manage time and manage behavior and activities. So we like to see teachers structure learning environments in ways, or learning activities in ways that allows kids to move and allows kids to make noise and allows them to really kind of express themselves individually. I think one of the more important elements that we see of interaction are the ways in which adults provide ways that stretch the children's thinking.
Number 10.
Is 10 on the top, or should 10 be on the bottom?
I don't
Okay, then what comes before 10? What's this one?
know.
So 10,
The child might be fiddling with a puzzle or trying to learn a new word, and the teacher wouldn't give them the answer, but would just come in and try to offer some hints that would help the child perform the task at a little bit higher level, hopefully have an experience of success, and then celebrate that success together.
would you be able to show 0?
No, 0.
You don't have to show 0. Why? 0 is how many? How many is 0? Nothing. Excellent. Good job, Jack. You know your numbers really, really well.
the ability to actually measure, assess, and then support effective interactions in a classroom has given us a great opportunity.
We're opening up a field of understanding, measuring, and improving the quality and effectiveness of teachers' interactions with kids that I think has enormous promise. I think it actually has the potential to move education forward.
Okay, so again, that was just an overview to help you understand as early childhood education leaders in the state, what the class tool will be, evaluating those 3 areas of emotional support, classroom organization, and then the instructional support. So those are areas around effective interactions that are going on in classrooms that we're going to be using to gauge quality across the state. So again, you can reach, whether you're participating in the class pilot or not, this is a great time to go ahead and use as a growth in your programs around effective interactions. There are lots of professional developments that are provided by our partners in the state and out there around effective interaction. So again, that would be a great professional growth goal for your program as we implement or the pilot project this year to develop a plan moving forward with the data that we collect in this area. But I will, I'm not a great multitasker when I have my screen up like that, but I will drop that link to the class pilot frequently asked question document. And I will let Keeler move on to the next part of our agenda.
Thanks, Lori. All right, I know there were a couple of questions in the chat. Just a reminder, these are recorded, so you can find them on the Office of Early Childhood's website at the link below. They're under the informational provider calls, and we keep those up so that you can go back for several months and review anything that you may have missed. So if you've ever missed a meeting and want to hear what happened in that hour, please feel free to go back and enjoy that meeting. Today's meeting, for those that might have missed the first few minutes, will be recorded. It takes us a couple of days. Keeler, do you know approximately? I just put later this week, but if there's a specific time you want to put in the chat box or answer that question, but it will be this week that we will have the recording up on the website for today's.
Yes, we generally get it up sometime later today.
Great. Keeler is so fast. So our next call is July 2nd. I think we've answered questions, but we can hang on for a second in case anybody has anything. I see a few messages in there. Oh, I see. What do you say? What do you say? I have no idea. Somebody pulled up the map earlier and I do not know that location in Fayetteville. I was just going to pop it in the GPS and head there tomorrow. So maybe somebody who's from the area knows exactly. I did notice there was a bank maybe in that area, but I don't know a lot about it. So Sterling Bank, thank you, Tammy Rowland. She knows exactly where it's at. That's the one thing I did see. So if you know the area, but those are on the side, and we can put those up again if that's helpful for those of you who might be trying to get to that meeting tomorrow. Lori has posted and put some things up that you can link to, and there's Lizzie's put the address. Thank you, Lizzie. For anybody who wants to join us in Fayetteville, again, there will be other meetings. We have one in Batesville, Arkansas City. We'll have one in Little Rock. I think that's it, and then a virtual if you cannot make the in-person meetings. If there is nothing else, I want to give you back your time because I know how valuable it is. So thank you all for everything that you do every day for children. We appreciate it. And if there's anything we can do, please feel free to reach out to us. And we look forward to seeing you at the town hall meetings and hearing from you if you're able to attend, or you can do the QR code and send us a survey. Thanks again.